All right, let's dive into a really cool corner of Arabic grammar. We're talking about tiny little words that pack a huge punch. You know, if you've ever been reading the Quran or any Arabic text and you've seen a verb that just looks a little different at the end, and you've wondered, hey, what's going on there? Well, today you're about to find out exactly why. So let's start with a piece of evidence. Take a look at this verse from Surah Al-Baqarah. The children of Israel are talking to Moses, and they say, "O Moses, we will never endure one kind of food." Now zero in on that verb, nasbira, nasbira, we endure. Something very specific, very intentional has happened to its ending. See, normally, you might expect that verb to be nasbiru, with a u sound at the end, but here it's nasbira, with an a sound. That one little vowel shift is a huge clue. It's not a mistake, not at all. It's a precise grammatical signal, and it's being triggered by another word in the sentence. And that is the mystery we're gonna solve today. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into this mystery of the changing verb. Then, we'll identify our agents of change, these little words called nawasib. We'll meet the 4 prime suspects and even uncover their hidden accomplices. And finally, we'll take everything we've learned and go back to crack the case right in the Quran itself. So, we've established our crime scene, right? A verb's case has been altered. But this change isn't just for decoration. It's a big deal. It fundamentally changes the meaning, adding these incredible layers of emphasis and certainty. To really get it, we need to meet the culprits responsible. And here they are. These culprits are called the Nawasib-e-Mudari. Just think of them as agents of change. They're a special group of particles, and whenever one of them shows up right before a present tense verb, it forces that verb into a special grammatical state called mansoob. Now, while there are a few of these particles floating around, grammarians all agree on 4 main ones. The asli or original agents. These are the big players, the ones that do the work directly. And honestly, if you can master these 4, you've pretty much unlocked the whole concept. And here they are: lan, an, idhen, and k. These are our 4 foundational agents of change. So let's break them down one by one and see exactly what they do, starting with probably the most powerful one of the bunch. First up is lan, and this one is a real triple threat. First, it does its main job. It puts the verb into that mansoob state. Second, it creates this incredibly strong absolute negation. We're not just talking will not, we're talking will never, absolutely not. And third, it locks the verb's meaning into the future tense and only the future. And you can see it right here in action. Yadhabu becomes lan yadhaba. See that vowel switch from u to a? That's the calling card. And look at the plural example. This one's even clearer. Tafhamuna becomes lan tafhamu. The entire final noon just gets dropped. It's like a clear fingerprint left at the scene. That's the evidence of lan at work. Okay, next up is our second agent, n. This particle is a connector. It's like a bridge that links 2 verbs or 2 ideas together. In English, this often translates to the infinitive form, to do something. It's all about showing purpose, desire, or necessity. Look at how much smoother this makes the sentence. Without it, you have 2 choppy statements. I want, I drink. But with n, you get one single fluid idea. I want to drink. And of course, you can see it doing its main job. The verb ashrabu changes to ashraba, officially entering that mansoob state. All right, let's quickly meet the last 2 of our core 4. Idhen, and k. Idhen is all about consequences. It's like saying, if you do this, then this will happen. And k is all about purpose, kind of like an. It means in order to or so that. Both are super useful for showing cause and effect. Okay, now we get to the really subtle stuff. What happens when you see a verb in the mansoob state, but none of our 4 prime suspects are anywhere to be found? Well, that, my friends, is when you know you're dealing with a hidden agent. So let's meet a couple of new particles. Hatta, which means until, and li, meaning for or in order to. Now, these guys aren't part of the core 4 we just talked about, but when they show up before a present tense verb, that verb still becomes mansoob. So what's going on? It seems like it's breaking the rules, but there's an amazing secret at play here. And here is the solution to the mystery. It's the concept of a hidden an, what grammarians call an muqaddara. Basically, the idea is that an invisible an is grammatically understood to be there right after particles like hatta. So it's actually this hidden an that's the true agent of change, doing all the work from behind the scenes. It's just a beautifully elegant feature of the language.
Okay, now that we're armed with this knowledge of both the visible and the hidden agents, let's go back to our case files. Let's revisit some examples from the Quran and see if we can look at them with completely new eyes.
This verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah is just perfect. It's a 2-for-1 deal. It has a direct, visible agent and one that works with a hidden agent. And indeed, we will never enter it until they leave it. Can you spot both of them? This lays it all out beautifully. You can see both types right here. The first verb, nadkhula, is in the mansoob state because of the very obvious, very visible lan right before it. But the second verb, yakhruju, is mansoob because of hatta. And we now know that hatta is just the signal for that hidden an doing its work. The dropped noon at the end of that verb is the final piece of evidence that seals the case. And here's another incredibly powerful example, this time from Surah At-Tawbah. So Allah will never forgive them. You can just feel the weight of that sentence, the absolute finality of it. And the particle responsible for that heavy emphasis is right there at the start. You know, once you learn to spot lan, it adds so much depth. It changes yaghfiru to yaghfira. And in doing so, it transforms the meaning from a simple he will not forgive into something much stronger, much more definitive. He will never forgive. It's a huge difference in meaning. And really, that's the whole point. This isn't just some boring academic exercise in grammar. Learning to spot these particles, these nawasib, elevates your entire understanding. You move from a basic surface-level reading to grasping the precise, powerful, and intended meaning that's woven into the very fabric of the text. So the next time you're reading, keep your eyes peeled for these little agents of change. When you see a lan or an un, or when you notice a verb in that mansoob state right after hatta, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what extra layer of meaning, what extra bit of emphasis is being communicated here? You'll be amazed at the new depths you'll discover.